grade teacher committed fraud, theft, and murder, leading to a 6-year-old me crying in a cubby for hours. Thank you for coming to my TEDx talk. Really? Guys are still here? Fine then. Don't worry, she didn't technically murder anyone. Just killed my childhood dreams. Emotionally, much better, don't worry. If my topic today were context matters, I could honestly end the speech right here. But no, I went ahead and chose overthinking for some reason or another. So now I actually gotta explain myself. So, back to the crime. First grade was chaos. In my class alone, 2 boys licked soy off the floor, and a girl kept on throwing a chair at me. And also didn't mention my teacher got a concussion. That was pretty bad. While my class was definitely unique, that wasn't what stuck with me. The real story starts with the space project. One day, my teacher, who finally got a concussion, gathered us all dramatically on the carpet and announced, "We are going to space." Now, when most kids think that, they think pretend space, classroom imagination space. I, however, took it extremely literally. Star space, rocket space, NASA showing up at my house and greeting me at my door space. Somewhere between daydreaming and paying attention, I figured I was supposed to make rockets out of cardboard, which raised a very serious concern. How was cardboard supposed to take us to outer space? I don't know, clearly NASA had a plan that I was not aware of. So that night, I went all in. I dug through recycling bins, I begged my parents for boxes, and in the end, I had enough cardboard for what I genuinely believed can make a real functional rocket. Finally, launch day arrived. My mom dropped me off to school, and I asked, very seriously, "Mama, will you come with me to space?" She said maybe next time, which in retrospect should have been a bit of a red flag for her. We marched into the gym. There were no rockets, no stars, no space, just children shuffling around in lopsided cardboard tubes while someone played royalty-free space music off YouTube. Later that day, I went to my teacher and asked, "Madam, when are we going to space?" She sighed and looked at me the way tired adults do when they want to be nice, but really just think he asked the stupidest question in the whole world, and said, "Heidi, we already did." And that is the story of how I cried in a cubby for hours. Now, I like to think this is a pretty funny story. I tell it when people ask me why I ask so many questions, or why I get invested in things. But the funny thing is, this story happened 10 years ago. So why did something that wasn't real affect me so much? Why did my brain treat cardboard disappointment like an actual loss? To answer that, let's meet 2 characters. Here, we have Bob. Bob is an ancient hunter. If Bob misjudged a rustle in the grass and assumed it was nothing, but it was a predator, our good friend Bob would not be here today. So his brain learned to do something incredibly useful, predicting danger before it happens. And here, we have Babette. Babette lives in modern times. She goes on a date. Later that night, she asks, "Did I do something wrong? Were they judging me?" Nothing is physically threatening Babette, but her brain doesn't know that. Neuroscience shows the brain is constantly comparing what it expects to what is actually happening, trying to minimize surprises, because historically, surprises often meant danger. There's even real research from Northwestern University showing that parts of the brain responsible for understanding other people's emotions and thoughts are in constant conversation with ancient fear circuits, like the amygdala, also known as your brain's threat detector. So when you think, are they mad, or are they judging me? Your brain is literally blending social thinking with survival protection. And it gets worse. Studies by neuroscientist Naomi Eisenberger found that when people experience social exclusion, even in a simple ball-tossing virtual light-up game, the same brain regions associated with physical pain light up. Meaning that your brain doesn't metaphorically say ouch, it actually hurts. Evolutionarily, this makes sense. Being excluded from your group used to be dangerous, so your brain learned to treat social uncertainty like a threat. Which brings us back to 6-year-old me. My brain wasn't being overly dramatic, but rather predicting loss. Overthinking at its core is when the brain constantly runs future simulations, trying to stimulate what might go right or what might go wrong, and reacting as if that expected future was already real. For me, I had built an entire future filled with rockets, stars, space, and when that future didn't happen, my brain reacted exactly the way it was designed to. Biologists even have a name for this looping mental process: preservative cognition. Studies show it can raise heart rate and stress hormones because your brain constantly responds to these repeated thoughts as if the threat was real. Now, I did promise you guys something useful. So what actually helps? Here's the truth. You can't stop overthinking. This is like telling a sick person to just get better. Sounds like a great idea, but in reality, the person proposing it looks like an idiot. So, the goal is never to stop overthinking, it's to interrupt it. One strategy backed by psychology is called cognitive labeling, literally naming what your brain is doing. So instead of thinking, drats, something is wrong, a better way would be, well, here was my brain, thinking as always. Studies show that simply naming an emotion reduces activity in the amygdala and increases activity in the prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain that helps you reason. Another thing that helps is shrinking the timeline. Overthinking lives in the future. So ask yourself, what is happening right now? Not what might happen, not what could happen, just now. And finally, this one surprised me, self-compassion. Studies by psychologist Christian Neff show that treating yourself with the same amount of kindness you offer to a friend actually reduces anxiety and rumination. Turns out yelling at your brain for being anxious just made it more anxious. Who knew? So here's my ask. The next time your brain spins 10,000 scenarios, don't tell it to shut up. Thank it. It's trying to protect you. And gently remind it that not every cardboard rocket, every missed expectation or awkward moment is a matter of survival. The same brain that once convinced me that I was going to space is the same brain that lets us think deeply, make connections, and dream about things that don't exist yet. I don't want a brain that never overthinks. I want one that believes in possibility, just with a little better fact-checking. And honestly, a little part of me always believes in cardboard rockets, because I'd rather have imagination, depth, and emotion than a brain that never takes off at all. Thank you. For real this time.